Hey, it's Drew Nizer with another Tuesday tip. We just had a huddle where we talked about things that were actually working really well in the pipeline, the driving pipeline. So with that, let's start with Kristin Russel from symplr. Kristin, what tip do you have for your fellow CMOs on driving pipeline right now?
Oh my gosh, Drew, I would have to say I don't know if anybody's got the secret sauce on this, but it's constant focus on the process and the structure. And I'm a huge fan of having the BDRs reporting into marketing so that I can kind of qualify those leads and really ensure I'm getting the best quality over to sales.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. And if you don't have that, it's just too easy for sales to ignore your leads. So thank you for that. Okay, Dean Nicolls from Oosto. Dean, what's your tip?
My tip is to make sure when you put a piece of content out there, whether it be an infographic, an ebook, you also train the salespeople how they can use that asset in their outbounding and use that as bait.
I think I understand that. All right, Carvajal from Q2. Carlos, what is your tip?
So if you're rolling out ABM programs and solutions for the first time in the company or first time in a while, I can't emphasize enough the importance behind prioritizing the sales interlock and complete sales buy-in, because the ABM program will not work if sales is not 100% bought in. The tip is, in some cases, start simple. Like find a small group of sales reps and sales managers that are super excited about the program, build small wins, and then market those wins and build on top of that.
And it's funny because I did I think 2 sessions of the demand basis training program. And that was one of the things that they talked about a lot. But how do you even find those individuals within the company who will volunteer and sort of get behind it?
It's funny, there's two things. One is curiosity, like who is actually showing genuine interest? Like, wow, that sounds really interesting. I want to learn more about that. How can I engage? And then quite frankly, the other way is who needs help with their pipeline the most? Because honestly, sometimes that actually drives needs. So it's a combination of those two factors. Because if you're working with somebody that is crushing their numbers, crushing their pipeline, they'll be like, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
talking to somebody, it's right.
They don't need it, right? So yes, find the hungry, find the curious. Okay, Kristin Fornal from Brand PH. Kristin, what's your tip for this big world of a driving pipeline?
I think it's super important not to lose sight of defining those segments that you want to target and the personas. Laying that foundational work is critical for understanding the content that you need and the conversations that need to happen going forth as you plan through your strategy to increase that pipeline.
And we had a lot of talk in the huddle about ICPs, ideal customer profiles, as part of this process. Talk just a little bit about that and how to make sure that they are the ideal customer profile.
You definitely have to do your homework. You need to understand not only who your customer is, but how they think and where they're looking for your content and what kind of content they're looking for. So you don't ever want to just only go off assumptions. Do your research too, and talk with your sales team and sit in on those conversations so that you can hear firsthand how their brains work and operate.
Got it. Well, and by the way, you win for best t-shirt ever. And by the way, I didn't pay Kristin to wear that t-shirt, but thank you for doing that.
Sure thing.
All right. Well, so you've just heard some fabulous tips. If you're a B2B CMO who can share, care, and dare with the best of them, check out CMOHuddles.com. I'm Drew Nizer. That's your Tuesday tip. Peace out.